Flavoring kombucha. So today I'd like to discuss the 3 different times you have the opportunity to flavor your kombucha for making it taste different, changing the profile up, and just to simply experiment. And each of these times have different pros, cons, and different characteristics. So first off, flavoring your kombucha tea starts even before you begin to ferment your kombucha tea. And what I mean by that is that when you make your nutrient solution, right, and that's just fancy for your sweet tea, right, your tea and sugar, choosing the tea that you use will change the flavor of your kombucha, right? So if you're using green tea for your kombucha, you're gonna have a different taste than using straight black tea. If you're using a combination, again, a different variation to the flavor profile. So the tea that you use to prepare your kombucha will ultimately affect the flavor of the finished bottled kombucha tea. There's also other things you could use besides tea. We go into more advanced trainings such as herbs, such as Chinese herbs, other medicinal herbs from either from traditional or even today. But just know that the herbs and tea, or I call it, when we say tea, we really talk about Camellia sinensis, the tea plant, but tea can also be used as just anything that you're infusing into a liquid, creating an infusion. So just know that whatever you use in the beginning will ultimately affect the flavor at the end. Okay, cool. The second time that you could have the opportunity to flavor your kombucha is when you go to bottle your kombucha tea. And what I mean by that is you fermented your kombucha tea and now you're actually transferring the liquid, the fermented kombucha tea, into a bottle. So the liquid is removed from the kombucha culture. And you can then choose to flavor that bottle, that individual bottle. This is a really good opportunity to experiment, because if a flavor isn't the best, well, it's only that one bottle. And you could chug it or throw it out, but all your other bottles are good to go. And the entire batch of kombucha, if you're doing a continuous brewing system, the entire 2 gallons that you're making isn't affected. All right, and then how do you flavor in the bottle? Well, you could choose lots of different methods. You could use liquids, right? So you could use your favorite fresh squeezed juice. You could use regular juice off of a shelf that's pasteurized. I mean, the choice is yours. Basically, though, the quality of the ingredients that you use to make kombucha will be the quality of your end result of kombucha tea. Other alternatives, though, which is I find really cool to play around with, is using things like raisins, craisins, sliced fresh ginger root. You could even use herbs, things like lavender, rose hips. When you're using things like that, though, like lavender and rose hips, you want to really make sure that your pH level is low enough, because when you bottle your kombucha during a secondary fermentation, you're leaving your kombucha tea out still, right? During the bottling stage, it's still is fermenting as well as building up that CO2 to give us that nice fizz. In fact, one of the nice things of flavoring your kombucha during this stage is that you're introducing additional sugar that in a bottled fermentation, now we're in the anaerobic process of fermentation. We get really technical here, right? That extra additional sugar, the yeast will continue to convert, but this time there's no escaping, right? So the CO2 stays in that bottle, hence building up the CO2 pressure for us to enjoy that fizziness that I know, at least for myself and many people, really enjoy. The last stage of flavoring your kombucha tea, the opportunity, is when you actually go to pour your kombucha in a glass. You could add a little club soda and cranberry juice right then and there, and you're going to change up that flavor profile. So experiment, have fun. You could choose one of these 3, or you could choose all 3 to affect the flavoring of your kombucha tea. Hopefully, though, this gives you some idea, some insight onto when and how to flavor your kombucha. To get even more free kombucha videos to take your kombucha brewing to the next level, check out GetKombucha.com/free.